Hello, class. Today I'm going to talk about Articles 4 through 7 of the U.S. Constitution. Obviously, Articles 1 through 3 are the big ones because those are the three branches of government, but Articles 4 through 7 are also very significant. So we're going to talk about them today. Article 4 is all about the states, the relationship between the federal government and the states, and the relationship between the states and other states. Section 1 talks about this idea of full faith and credit. This is actually in the Articles of Confederation too. This is the idea that if you get married in one state, you are still married in other states. If you get a driver's license in one state, you still have a driver's license in other states. It's valid in other states. So those records are still valid in other states. Section 2, privileges and immunities. Basically, states can't discriminate against out of staters. So one state can't have a higher sales tax just for people from certain states. You cannot discriminate against a person just because they're from another state. So we want freedom of travel in this country, and that's part of privileges and immunities. Um, in Section 2, there's also this idea that states will work with other states to have what is called extradition, where they basically will return um, people who are running away from the law in one state to another state. Section 3 is all about how new states come into the union. Um, you can't steal or take away from another state to create a new state. That new state has to be all federal territory or new land. You can't take away from another state. So that's Section 3, the process for admitting new states. And Section 4 says that all states have to have a republican form of government. So you can't be a monarchy, you can't be a dictatorship. You have to have a republican form of government if you want to be a state in the union. So that is Article 4. It's all about the states themselves. Article 5, this one is really, really important. This is the idea that you can amend the Constitution. There have been 27 amendments to the Constitution. The last one was in 1992. Um, it made it a little bit easier to amend the Constitution compared to the Articles of Confederation, but it's still a pretty burdensome process. There's basically two methods. The first method says that Congress, both the House and the Senate, proposes an amendment. So they say, hey, we want the states to vote on this idea, and it has to pass by a two-thirds vote. It then goes to the state legislatures, where it would have to pass by a three-fourths vote. So two-thirds to three-fourths. The other idea is the states themselves call for a convention. If two-thirds of the states call for a convention, um, this could be a place where they would then go and debate which type of amendments to the Constitution. And one thing interesting is they could have call for a convention on one type of an amendment and then come up with new ideas at that convention. And then three-fourths of the conventions would have to agree to that. That process has only been used once. It was for the prohibition of, or actually repealing the prohibition on alcohol, the 21st Amendment. All the other amendments have used the two-thirds of Congress, three-fourths of the state legislatures to pass the other 26. Article 6 is somewhat miscellaneous. This is the idea that, um, first of all the debts from before the US Constitution, so think Articles of Confederation, are still valid. Just like all the debts from the Constitutional Convention were still valid for the Articles of Confederation, all the debts prior to this new US Constitution that will get ratified in 1787, um, those debts are still valid. Section 2, this is really important. This is the idea that the Constitution, federal laws, and treaties are all supreme. Therefore, they are supreme when it comes to comparing them to state laws. So, for example, if a federal law and a state law say different things, the federal law wins. Federal law is supreme. It takes over from that state law. Um, the next one, you have to take an oath of office, obviously, if you want to serve in the government. Um, that's why you see presidents taking oath of office. That's why you see members of the Supreme Court, senators, House reps, they all take an oath of office. But you do not have to take a religious test. It is unconstitutional to make someone take a religious test before becoming a member of any of the three branches of government. So you can't bar certain religions from government, or you can't hold their religion against them. Lastly, Article 7, very short, but for this new US Constitution to become law, it had to be signed off by 9 of the states. So 9 states had to affirm this new US Constitution. So again, that's Articles 4, Articles 4 through 7.